Hi there. This is the completely new 2021 GMC Yukon Denali. It's big, it's bold, its face is definitely in your face, and this one doesn't even have a V8. In fact, this Yukon doesn't use any gasoline at all. That's right, this Denali is a diesel. But is it any good? Let's find out. The Yukon has been around for decades as part of the corporate triplets of GM full-size SUVs. You've got the Chevy Tahoe / Suburban, and of course the Cadillac Escalade. And what General Motors does is they take their full-size pickup truck, they put an SUV body on it, and for this generation, they are removing the live rear axle and replacing it with independent rear suspension. This not only greatly improves ride quality, but it allows for a larger third row. Vehicles of this sort are very rare outside of the US. Yeah, there's some in Canada and some in Mexico, but really to have a vehicle this large with this much capability, it just doesn't exist in other markets. It's a almost unique American phenomenon. Aside from the Chevy version and the Cadillac, its natural competitors are the Ford Expedition, the Lincoln Navigator, the Toyota Sequoia, the Nissan Armada, and sooner than later, there's gonna be a full-size 3-row SUV from Jeep. The problem with the Yukon in the past was, why would you choose it over the Chevy? They're identical vehicles, and typically Chevys cost a little bit less. So what GMC did to solve that problem was they came up with the Denali trim level, which is nicer than the Chevrolet, not quite as nice as the Cadillac. It's a bit of a tweener, and that made it unique in the marketplace. Add to that a turbo diesel motor, and that's 2 unique selling points. As far as design goes, I think it's fairly safe to point out that the word subtle was banned from the GMC design studio. I mean, look at this thing. Really though, the overarching design element is just size. It is massive. And then there's this grille. I mean, talk about bling bling. It's almost obscene, but the crazy part is if you look at the Yukon next to the Chevy version of this platform or the Cadillac, this is the best looking one. Coming down the side, and again, it's just the scale is so big. These are 22-inch wheels, and they just look like regular sized wheels. But you know, the details are good, the bright work is nice, the line work is good. They did a really excellent job on the C-pillar, it's elegant. You walk out back and, I mean, it's just a giant SUV. The only thing they really played with, or maybe were allowed to play with, are the taillights, and they did a great job with that. But again, the overarching message is size apparently matters. I'm inside the Yukon Denali, and as you can see, it's not quite as bling blingy in here as it is out there. I'd actually call it drab because I'm looking at about 12 different shades of gray. Yes, everything seems to have leather and metal and wood on it, but I'm not 100% convinced that's leather. I know that's not metal. They say authentic wood details, which means it's plastic and they molded it off of an authentic piece of wood. I don't want to call it lipstick on a pig, but this is fake wood onto Chevy. And one of my crazy gripes about all these full-size GM products, there's this knob here. It's a really important knob because it's how you get from normal to sport to towing, the different driving modes, and it's unlabeled. I only found it on accident, but they hide what it actually does. And this is just a normal GM weird thing where they have cool technology and they hide it from the owners. As far as the screen goes, it's big, it works well, it's legible. Now, one of the reasons you buy these vehicles though is really for space, and there's tons of it. It is cavernous in here. There's also tons of room in the middle row, and even the third row, finally, because of the independent suspension, is actually pretty spacious. Performance. There's bad news and there's good news. We're gonna start with the bad news. This turbodiesel 3-liter 6-cylinder engine makes 277 horsepower and 460 pound-feet of torque. Now, that torque output is the same as the 6.2-liter gasoline V8. However, the power is way down. The gas engine makes 420 horsepower. So in a straight line, this is going to be slower than the regular V8 Yukon. However, that's really only when you're flooring it. Because the torque outputs are the same, and because of GM's brilliant 10-speed automatic transmission, in normal driving, they feel about as quick as each other. So maybe you're getting the diesel because you want to tow more. Diesels are better for towing, right? Not here, because 3 liters is a relatively small displacement for such a large vehicle. This actually tows a little bit less than the V8. Okay, so why would you get the diesel? Here's the good news: fuel economy. This monster SUV next to me actually gets 21 miles per gallon in the city and 27 miles per gallon on the highway. That's pretty impressive. And speaking of impressive around town and on the highway, ride quality. We mentioned that this now has 4 fully independent corners, and that really does help make the thing ride better, which is important not just for your family, but a lot of these wind up as black cars. How does it handle? It's no sports car, but losing that live rear axle makes this big thing handle a lot better than you might think. Safety is a mixed bag with the Yukon. It only gets a 4-star crash rating, but it is massive, and being this large is an inherent safety benefit. Luckily, it does come with all sorts of standard automatic safety features. How much? Well, this diesel Denali Yukon right here costs $78,450. And remember, the diesel is actually $1,500 cheaper than the gas engine one. Now, it's priced a little bit more than the similarly equipped competition. GMC is hoping that you're gonna see a few $1,000s worth of value in the name Denali, but in my mind, you aren't. If there's one thing I want you to know about the 2021 GMC Yukon Denali, it's that it is a great full-size SUV. Take away the price and the interior quality for just a moment, and what you're left with is a very comfortable, good to drive, humongous family SUV that returns impressive fuel economy. In fact, the efficiency is unique in the segment. The trouble for GMC is that for the same money, you could own Cadillac's Escalade. And my question is, why wouldn't you? To check out the latest rankings, go to motortrend.com/cars.